Romans 8:1. There is, therefore, no condemnation for those that are in Christ Jesus. Done. I can stop right there, because at the end of the day, that is the entire gospel summed up in probably the most concise way you possibly could. Now, the entire book of Romans explains the whole story, but as of right now, hey, look, Jeremy, there's no condemnation for you. Are you in Christ Jesus? Well, right before that verse, Paul is talking about wrestling with the flesh and with sin, and he's looking at himself and he's like, hey, I've got my flesh and it's pulling me to go this way, and sometimes I do. And I've got my spirit and it's pulling me to go that way. I hate this. What do I do about this? And so he starts off Romans 8:1. He's like, well, first off, because it's one verse, don't worry, because there is no condemnation for those that are in Christ Jesus. You're wrestling with your flesh, or you're finding out like, man, I seem to be just drawn to do things that I don't want to do. Don't worry. God's got this. Jesus paid that on the cross. When you accepted him through faith, your flesh, Jeremy, died on that cross. Those temptations don't have a hold on you because Jesus Christ has freed you. Your flesh is put to death and your spirit is raised to life. So now through faith in Jesus, you don't have to do those things. You don't have to fall into sin. You don't have to follow those desires of the flesh. Why? Because your flesh is crucified. Falling down a hill here. Your flesh is crucified. There's no condemnation because it's already been condemned. Yeah, sorry, Jeremy, you're going to die, right? Your flesh is condemned. There's a price, but don't worry. Your spirit is alive in Christ, and your spirit is now in control as you renew your mind. So, talking to myself right now, what do I do with this? I rejoice in the fact that I'm not condemned. I'm alive in Christ. And that this morning I recognize that this flesh, this thing that's pulling on me and wanting to try and condemn me, has no power over me. It's been condemned. It's dead through faith in Jesus. Now, I know that I'm not dead yet. My flesh is obviously walking around talking to this phone right now. It's okay. It's going to die. Don't worry. But through the rest of this life, it's not going to have power over me. This flesh is under the control of the Spirit. I am now Jesus's hands and feet because his Spirit is alive in me. Oh, I could just keep going on and on and on about the glory of Jesus, and it's all captured in that one verse.